Hello and welcome to Barb's Craft Room. I saw a video on how to take junk mail, mail that comes to your mailbox, and turn it into a journal. So I thought, why not try it? Why not? So this is what I did. This is the biggest piece, and it became the cover. But I'm going to put that aside for right now. And then I took out every piece of mail there was, and I folded them in half and just started putting them together. And this is the pile of mail that I had. And so if it was a letter inside, I opened the letter and I folded it in half. If it was a card, I folded it in half. So everything, maybe you can see by this page right here, it was a flyer for AAA. It has none of my personal information on it. So I folded it in half one way and then the other way, and I just added it to my pile. And I did that with all of the mail for one day as junk mail. This is all just junk mail. This was my thought. Anyone can make a junk journal using mail, whether from one day or a collection of a week, to make a journal. This was going to be the outer portion. I thought it would be best, though, to make a nice cover to use before I just cut out a piece. It would have to be with red base, and none of this paper is red. So I'm going to use this as my outside cover, but in order to do that, I'm going to have to cover it like this. Now, you can actually cover it this way, and you can see this paper isn't even straight, the one I'm using. You can cover it this way. You can cover it with fabric, just about anything you want. You can cut out, just a section of this, but I didn't feel like that was what I wanted to do with this. I could center it and fold it up. I don't want to do that either. I'm just going to cover the outside. And to do that, I'm going to use just some regular glue. First, I'm going to use my glue stick, because the glue stick is a temporary hold. And I think that the temporary, well, it's not really a temporary, this says permanent on it. But I have found that even though it says permanent, may not make it permanent. I don't know, you have to test your glue. Some glues say one thing, but they do completely opposite of what they say. I know I like using this glue, but it works very well. It's just not permanent enough for me. I feel like it'll lift off eventually. That was not good. I had a straight pin in here, and the straight pin, I pulled the pearl off the top, and the rest of the pin stayed in the glue holder. Not what you want. Definitely not what you want. So that is just not a good thing. I'm going to have to use my other glue, and in order to use this one, I'm going to have to fill it up. So watch me as I fill it up. This is how it works when you work with glue. They empty, you refill. And I wasn't planning on all of this. My feeble hands don't like unscrewing bottles. That's why I fill up a few bottles at a time, so I don't have to sit there and refill them constantly, but that wasn't the plan for the day. My glue decided it had a mind of its own. And while that's drying, I'm filling up glue. You can tell this wasn't my plan. But now I have my little bottle filled. It's filled with art glitter glue, and I'm going to put it around the very edge of this paper, guaranteeing my edge will be solidly glued to the paper that I'm choosing to use. And we'll just, for good measure, put some in the middle. Line it up straight. That's a permanent glue. I can always trim. And we're going to use a bone folder to burnish it down. Give it a second before I fold it, because folding it in the crease, if it's not glued, if it's glued temporarily, or the glue is still wet, it will pop out of it will not glue properly. Put that off to the side, and put this one off to the side. All right, now I have my cover. I know it's still not dry enough for me. At this point, you can decide if you're going to do anything fancy to it, like with fabric, or putting lace on, adding a tie. Let me see what I got here. I'm just going to do this as basic as possible. But if I wanted to add a tie to it, I could, glue a side over here, glue a side over there, and then it would tie shut. But I only have one piece. So that's not going to work. However, this is blue. Wonder if this would make a good tie. Or hold it together if it's too big or too small. I don't know. I don't like this one. I mean, that could work. I don't know. I don't think so. I do like that one. This wasn't planned either. I was planning on using paper on the inside. But then as I got to this part, I thought, oh, it would be nice to put fabric in the middle. Fabric in the middle would give it some texture. Maybe I will add fabric. But that's how you put it, paper on there. So now this is paper. That's going to be a pretty book. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Burnish it as much as I can. Fabric. A cotton fabric would be nice. Let's see what I have close by. I don't have a lot close by. I have to get a list. But a fabric sounds like a good idea if I have some close by. Of course I don't. I have cheesecloth, nothing close by. Okay, well, maybe we'll have to cover it in something else. I do have something that is sitting here close by. What's close by is some wrapping paper that I just got off of an Amazon box. What do you think about that? Let me see here. I'm thinking that might be a plan. Look at that. I'm going to cut it right here, and I'm going to use this since I don't have any fabric close by. But I got this. Earlier today, I told a friend of mine that we're only limited by our own mind. In your crafting, you're only limited by your own mind. Think about that. You can do anything. Anything you possibly want to do, you can do. Just tell yourself that. I can do that. That's no problem. And you can use whatever you have. Junk mail or no junk mail. Just look around your house. Find an old book, find papers, newspaper, magazines, encyclopedias. Just think about that. You can use anything. This is junk mail. And I'm using junk mail. It amuses me every time how I can just use junk mail to make whatever I want to make. You notice what I did? I noticed what I did. I did not put my glue, my little white glue, on this project. To me, that was a fatal mistake. And I'm going to go back and do just that. If it comes up, and I'm putting glue. Don't do what I did. Put the glue down ahead of time. But you see, it's still possible. Still possible to do it. And on this end, it's not too bad after all. I kind of like that that look here. Kind of like it. Like that crumbly paper look. That crumbly paper looks really cool. I guess you can make it vintagey if you want. Anyway, that's down there now. It is wrinkly, and that's perfectly fine. I'm going to cut this off, and we will have a cover for our junk mail junk journal. Can you see what I'm doing, or am I off camera? I hope I'm not off camera. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm having the time of my life. Creating something is so much fun to me. Even if I get sticky, if I get painty, if I get anything, it's all the much more worth it to me. All right. I'm going to discard that. You do not have to. You can use it for something else if you want. this is my book. And I'm going to take some ink. Most people use Tim Holtz ink. I'm using Stampin' Up. I'm just going to ink insides of this so you can see the wrinkles. And that looks really cool. Look, makes it look old or something. But this is just me playing. Okay, that's the cover. You definitely want to make sure the middle stays in the middle. You know what I mean. You know what I mean? Okay. I'm going to take all these little pieces of junk mail and I'm putting them in there. I just folded and put them in. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just put in there. I'm getting my waxy thread, a needle to thread, and my awl. This is an awl. An awl is a pokey tool. Makes holes in things that are not easy to make a hole in. So to make the book, you want waxy thread just about 3 times the length of the book. I've seen people use embroidery floss. I do not like embroidery floss. If it's old enough, it will pop and break. You can use almost anything. I prefer the wax thread, mostly because I know it's long lasting. So I put that off to the side. I have my book open like this. Not every page is in there exactly. They're spread apart. Some are up, some are down. And I'm putting them like this. And I'm going to give them a little bit of security by placing this little clip on it, and it will hold it. I'm going to start in the middle. That awl's going to go right through there, and then take it out, put in my waxy thread, and pull it through. Pull it through till it's just almost the length of my book. Then you poke a hole in it on about 1 inch away from the top. And when you do, you have a hole on this side. And sometimes it's hard to get the sewing needle in through there. So I remove the awl and push the needle in at the same time, hoping for the best, which I don't think it worked. And then I lost my needle out. But your thread should go right in that hole. It should go all the way through. Oh, that time it did. Went all the way through. Pull it all the way. And then you bring it down to about the same distance from the top that you had for the bottom. Now this middle page here, I'm going to put it right on the end of that middle page so that that middle page will be it's down. I know it's not going to go anywhere. And put that needle right through there. And then I'm going to bring this thread back through the middle where I originally put the first hole. And this is the hardest part, getting that directly in through the same hole. A lot of times when you do that, your thread, okay, here we go. Come on, come on, come on up. There you go. Your thread is, my thread here is separate from where this is. So one side needs to be on one side of the string and one side on the other. And then pull as tight as possible. I take my needle out at this point and tie a knot and tie a second knot and maybe even a third knot. You can tie a bow right here, or you can leave your string dangling. That's entirely up to you, or you can do both. But if you do both and you add beads to this, it might untie that string. So that's an FYI. Remove that, put my awl and my pin. I put them back right away. Trying to keep it all together, which is a miracle in itself. But now I have a cover and I have a book. In my book, I can decide what I'm going to do with each one of these. This looks like it could be a pocket on this side, or it could be a pocket up here. That's entirely up to the maker on what you want to do. But what I wanted to show you how easy it is to make these pages beautiful, I went ahead and cut some pretty papers from a pack that I have over here. I think I got it at, I don't know where I got it. Goodwill. No, it was at a place called Ollie's. It's a discount store, and it sometimes has paper. Ollie's Discount. And this paper pack, I'm trying to find out what it says here, is Park Lane Papery Country Home. So let me see if I can show you. Park Lane Country Home. And yes, I got it at Ollie's. This paper pack was $1.99. So my book's going to cost me $1.99, and the time I put in it. I measured these ahead of time, and I cut out papers, and hopefully I did them the right size the first time, and we'll see if they work. Okay? So I put, sometimes you have to make sure that your papers are a little bit shorter on the inside towards the spine than they are on the outside, because when you open and close the page, you want it to be able to not stick over here, you know, like lift and stuff. So hopefully I did it right. I'm just like everybody else. I'm learning as I go. But it's fun to learn as you go. So I'm going to make it as straight over here on this edge as possible. Like that. Very close. And then I'm going to open it up and press it down so that it's on there. Okay. I got the same paper for this side. I measured 2 times, and I just, I cut it twice. So it's front and back. If I didn't want this flower on this side though, I could always turn it over, because this is double-sided paper. But I like that flower, and I'm going to use this flower. So the insides usually are bigger than the outside. What I'm saying is the inside's usually bigger, but I cut it exactly the same. I still can decide whether or not the pocket will be here to slide this way, or if the pocket will be up there, but I have page covered. Very pretty. Anyways, we will continue with my endeavor here, and hopefully the papers are the right size and we can make our little book. You can also ink the edges of the envelope before or after you put it in. Just make sure your edges are inked well. It's as simple as that. This one can be a pocket, or it can just be a page. And since I didn't do anything with this, it's just going to be a page. Every one of these probably could be a page. You don't have to have any pockets if you don't want. You can create them separately. So this one, since it's yellow on this side, I'm going to put it gray on this side. It's just the flip side of the yellow. You can do that if you like, or you can cut completely separate pages. But that was the easiest for me, was to take the same paper and just cut it to match, you know, the size. Yeah, and now we have this one, brown or blue. Well, the blue is sideways, so I'm going to put down the brown. And it's just that simple. A lot of your junk journal ladies out there like to use digitals. I don't use digitals, mostly because I don't have a printer that works like perfectly for a digital. So I use paper. And paper works fine. This one, you could leave it and make a journal spot, you know, draw lines on it. I think I could do that. So what you can do with this is you can take a ruler, or you can just take a black pen and draw lines. They don't have to be straight. You just have lines on it, and then you have a place to write. And if you want, you can put little circles there. Nothing has to be perfect. It just has to look like a journal. There we go. And that page, that's a done page. The next, and I will save this next piece for a piece that's that size. I have this piece, this piece. These papers are really pretty. You see me flipping it over and pushing it down. Now I have, you know, contact information. I could leave that, or I could just cover it, which is the plan, was to cover. So I'm going to cover it. And the words on the back of this are wrong way, so I have to use the same pattern. And that's perfectly fine also. Same pattern, different page. Again, I have a folded paper here where I could have top or bottom pocket. And this will be this page like that. That's beautiful. And if you want a pocket, you make a pocket, but I haven't decided what I want to use, whether I'm going to use pockets or how I'm actually going to do it. I didn't think about that, so I'm not going to add any tags or pockets at the moment. I'm just adding pages. And I think this side I'm going to use this. And I'll show you why. This really pretty paper. You can never add enough glue, I don't think. I have this pattern again, and this time I'm gonna do opposite like that. Can't really see the ink too well, but it does wipe away the white edges. So if you could see the white edges like I can see them, it wipes it off. And I'm going to make a special mention to Austin, my grandson, who likes to watch my videos. Hi, Austin. Are you enjoying this video? This one has a pocket. So what I'm going to do with the pocket is I'm going to glue that edge back down. And then I'm going to add this on this side so that I have a pretty pocket. And when I go through it, I'll probably do thumb notches to remind me that I have a pocket there. A thumb notch is just a semicircle cut out from a punch. If you don't have a punch, you can actually just do it with a scissor. So you just punch it right here. This page will be yellow. And this is the top part of the tear out of that. Has a 1/2 inch to tear out, but I thought if I leave it in here, my thought was I could reinforce it with a hole reinforcer, punch a hole through the paper, actual paper, and and only half of the paper though. Punch a hole through here, and then I can put a dangle right there. Something that dangles. So that's why I left the hole. I thought, ooh, this will be interesting. Think outside the box. Do things that probably don't make sense at first, but then it works out to your advantage on making sense. And that's one of them. Well, apparently I didn't make this one long enough. You see that? The fix for that is I can put lace at the top here. I can use another piece of paper at the top there. But I have some lace here, so I will show you kind of an idea. The lace isn't the lace that I would use, but I'm going to show you anyways. So this is lace. You could put lace at the top, and then you wouldn't see the paper that I left there, since obviously I can't measure correctly. I'm sure we've all made that mistake, making it too short. I'm going to go with the flow. You can also, I have a small piece over here of a different paper that I could put at the top like that. That would work also. So it just depends on what you want to do. Don't think that, oops, I cut it too short, can't use it. It's no good. It's all good. Everything you think is a mistake is just another reason to decorate differently. Decorate different. So far, our book's looking pretty good. Yes? Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty. I like it. I'm liking it. And it could be a pocket. Could be a pocket. This is light gray or dark gray. I like the dark gray this time. Dark gray, when you have dark gray or light gray, you can always add stamps to it, other pieces of paper to it, flowers. In this pack, they have vellum paper. Vellum paper would look really cool on top of this. I did not cut that, but I can show you the vellum paper here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Wouldn't that be pretty on there? And make a pocket out of that. Oh yeah. So that's pretty. And again, I didn't cut it, so I'm going to glue it down. This will just be a page. Probably be an exterior pocket. Exterior pocket would be a pocket that's not inside that envelope. And you'd be able to fill it with a tag, a journal card, a little book, just about anything. I'm really excited for this cute little book. I didn't think that it would turn out as nice as it's turned out, but it sure has. Sure has turned out beautifully. It could be either one. Could be either one. This goes with this, and this goes with this. Could be either one. Not sure. I think I'll go with the yellow. I know I've used this yellow on earlier in the book, and so that would give it some uniformity. So I'll stick with the yellow. But I've also used the gray. Here we go. I really appreciate you sticking with me and learning how to make a journal out of junk mail. Again, this will need something on the top because I didn't measure quite the way I thought I should. On this side, see, on this page we'll have this, so that might look better. I only cut pages to do half of this book, so when I get to the other half, I'm going to probably shut off the video and finish the book on my own. But I'm hoping that you will try some junk mail books and come up with something of your own. And if you do, you could definitely message me with a photo. I would just love to see what you do with it. This is really just really interesting. I have used junk mail in the past to create a bee-book, but I didn't do it this way. I used gesso and I painted every page white on all of my junk mail. I painted it with gesso, and I did a journal that way. That's listed in my YouTube videos if you want to check that out. That's entirely up to you. I don't do links, probably because I don't know how. There's a lot of things I don't know how because I don't do the research to figure out how to do them. Figure if you want to know, you'll figure it out. If you don't, you don't. And then this, oh my gosh, this is turning out to be the cutest book. This paper here is, that paper pack has not only the vellum in it, but it has, what is this, wallpaper paper. It feels like wallpaper on the one side. It doesn't feel like you can peel off the back to make it wallpaper, but the front is a lot of texture on it. Like this has texture and this one has texture. So I know it's a wallpaper paper. And this one wasn't wide enough. You see that? It's not wide enough. But the closer you get to the center of the book, the bulkier it gets if you go towards the middle. So I thought about that, and I decided I was going to make them just a little bit shorter. And you watch and see, the next page will be exactly the right size. But when you get towards the middle of the book, you might come up with a little bit paper here. You see that? But what you can do with that is you can paint it with gesso, or you can cover it with a pocket, like a piece of paper that's on the inside edge, and turn it into a pocket. And let me see if I can show you. You can put inside edge like this, and the only part that's glued down is the part in the page, and then you have a pocket here. So that hides that. You could do that. You could put washi tape there. There's a slew of things you can do. No, I did leave room, but it's a little tall. So I need this cut off just a little bit. The rest of that sentence needs to be removed. This has words on it, so I wanted the words. Most of these papers don't have a directional pattern on it, but this one did, and it has yellow on the background, and it matched the rest of the book, so I thought that was cool. So I made this one directionally okay. With the yellow, it could have went either way. Did you see that? I saw that. See, if I wanted to, I could put the yellow on this side, and it goes also. And it's also just a hair too big. But the plan was for the words, so the plan is going to be the plan. I don't always have a plan, but for this video I thought a plan sounded like a good idea. That way I could move along and show you quickly how I make this book. I thought junk mail sounds easy. Why not give it a try? And I'm really glad I did, because it's turning out so cute. Really cute. And I have white or this off green. I think I like the whiter color. So it's going to be the white. It's not really white. It's like cream color. This one has a tinge of green in it. So when you put it up next to the blue, it looks a little greenish. I don't want green. I'd rather have the white. Put that over. On this side, I could put that greenish color. It goes all the way to the middle. That was not what I had intended. I have to trim a little bit off there. And I'm going to put this greener side up. I do like this more tan side though. But it's okay. I want to try this green, tone it down with the brown that I have over here. You have just a fragment of a second to move that paper around, because this glue is super quick drying, and so if you don't glue it down quickly, you end up with let's see if I did that right. Oh, I could put that. I could do that. I kind of like the flowers. I think if you gave me solid paper and flowered paper, I would choose flowered paper every time. I don't know why. I prefer flowers. Flowers are just so pretty. Flowers it is. So this is almost to the middle. And so we have successfully, that would have to go that way. So I'm going to do this one brown. We have successfully finished half of the book. And I don't have the whole book of pages, so I can't continue with gluing down the pages. But I think if I leave it like this, I can come back and we can put in pockets or other ephemera, but even just that little bit of pages has made this really, really big. See that? You set it down. It's going to need, if I fill up the other half with these pages, it's going to need something to hold it together. So I'm going to have to dream up what that'll be. Maybe we can decorate the front with a tie. Maybe we can put corners on the corners. Maybe, well, I don't know. Maybe you should come back and see part 2. All right. I appreciate you stopping by and watching my video, and have a good evening.